Today's episode of This Week in MMO is brought to you by the Warlords of Draenor Q. Yes, 3,915 with an estimated time of 173 and rising. Thank you, Draenor. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. F it. What's up, everybody? Hello? Got no music? I ain't got a home. All right, I'm back. I'm back from BlizzCon and not in the studio, which hence why I'm in my house. And I don't know if you guys can see, but there's gear all over my living room, or my dining room rather. And yeah, so makeshift studio, really quick setup. Not using. I apologize now for this poor quality show. You expect more from us, but
all the stuff that would make this a good show is sitting behind Gannon.
I'm just gonna blame Blizzard server queues for today's terrible production value.
It's because you had to sit in queue. You couldn't play the game, so you had to wait even longer. You couldn't get set up.
I couldn't. Actually, I've been trying to set up all day. It's been one of those days. I was trying to set up a setup here all day, and of course, it's just overly complicated, and nothing would work. So then I'm like, F it, XSplit, done. Okay. So here we are to do a show, but I feel like we had to do a show. I was going to cancel it and say like, hey, let's just I'll get in the studio tomorrow. We'll do something. But it's like, we haven't done anything post BlizzCon and just so much going on. And this debacle right here, 120.
Oh, that's genius, Trig. Warlords of Draenor Q is Blizzard's version of Wild Star's Attunement.
Oh!
Oh, wow.
All right, let's be nice. Let's be nice. All right. Well, so I guess Warlords has launched. I've got some time in. Burns got some time in.
Yep.
We are struggling a little bit today with some servers. I don't know. I'm not even mad about it. I mean, it's an MMO launch, and it's a Blizzard MMO launch. I mean, this one is definitely a little bit. Well, now that so for people who don't know, I just found out this right before the show. I didn't know if this was true or not, if this was confirmed, but it is confirmed now, right? That they are actually getting DDoS. The Blizzard servers are getting DDoS attacked. So that is compounding this issue.
Correct. Yeah, Lorb tweeted it out and did a post on it this afternoon, and then Bashiot confirmed it a little while later.
Isn't it amazing?
So just they're making a bad situation even worse right now.
Of course, all the replies to it was, yeah, you're being DDoSed by players trying to log in.
well, that's what I was going to say last night. So even last night I was watching like Towley play and stuff like that, and he was having some trouble getting in. The first thing, people in chat were like, it's DDoS attack. I'm like, no, it's not a DDoS attack. It is like a Blizzard launch of an MMO. This happens every time there's an expansion. There's a lot of people trying to log in. I just kept getting ported back from the Dark Portal back to Orgrimmar, getting DC'd every time, just being back in Orgrimmar. Finally got through. But yeah, so everybody's got a little bit of heartache right now. If you're getting frustrated, maybe put it aside. Maybe go play something else.
There's got to be players out there who's like, if I can't play, nobody can play.
Well, Tally laid down and took a nap on stream last night. Like, he was just like, okay, I'm going to go take a nap because I can't do anything. And was just on camera, just sleeping.
Isn't it kind of expected?
The Final Fantasy XIV launch, though, so I'm not really raging at this one. It's surprising to me more than it's actually upsetting me or whatever, because even before DDoS, it was a bit odd how much lag and issues with phasing and quests that a big portion of us were having. So it kind of surprised me that they weren't at least a little more prepared for a heavy volume. But after Final Fantasy XIV's launch,
it's a 10-year-old. It's surprising because it's a 10-year-old game. They don't have 11 million players right now like they used to. So
yeah, but you can't prepare for this, and this stuff balances itself out in like 72 hours to 3-4 days. It all goes away if everything goes good. They can't, no matter like more servers. This is like everybody goes, well, there should have been more servers or something. Like more servers doesn't really make the fact that 1,000 people trying to stand in front of the Dark Portal any better. Like it's just not going to work. Like no matter how much.
Right now, all 1,000 of them are standing in my garrison.
Yes, that's true.
Or flying in it.
Or flying over the flight point just west of my garrison.
Yeah, it's really hard to say this is an unprepared thing now. I'm giving the benefit of that. Now the DDoS attack has been compounded on top of the issue. It's like, what are you going to do? What are you really going to do if you're getting DDoS now? There's still, again, not a whole heck of a lot you can do when that happens. I don't know. Let's talk about
and I guess I'm speaking for the very few of us who have experienced very few problems, a couple of DCs within the first hour of launch, a little bit of lag, but other than that, Everything's been running fairly smooth on Ravencrest. I've been having a good time. Questing, leveling, running around in my Garrison with no problem whatsoever and no visitors unexpectedly.
I don't know about you all, but I haven't had any issues watching the tweets go through and seeing other people's Twitch streams, all working fine for me.
And this is why nobody likes Troy.
Exactly. I got no problems at all. But you could always log into Heroes of the Storm, Burn.
Yes, this is true.
Which Troy could.
True.
Troy.
Every time. That's dirty, boys.
Troy, did you get a key yet? I mean, I watched TWIMMO every week.
Out of everybody on this show, it was the only one who really
They sent out more keys the other day.
In the game. This guy with the pink hair, because he lost a bet to Ganon, by the way.
I gotta say kudos to the two gentlemen here who did good by their bet. If you guys missed the episode of TWIMMO where we bet on the Heroes of the Storm expedition game, that's what it was called, right? Expedition game. I think
Exhibition.
Exhibition. It's an expedition. BlizzCon kind of
splunking helmets on.
If I could take just a moment, I have a prepared statement. Dear Team Rocket Jump, WTF noobs. Thank you for your time.
They really did not pull through, man. They did.
No, it was embarrassing. I mean, I don't know if they'd ever even played the game before that.
That's what I was just going to say. It's like, did they even fire it up?
Well, I'm pretty sure Freddie said at the beginning, I was already scared when he said it. He's like, we have 10 hours combined total amongst us.
You were hoping that was a joke.
I don't believe it. I don't believe they had 10 hours in between the 5 of them.
They were like, "Oh, we thought you said it was an Excite Bike tournament. Oh, I had so many hours in an Excite Bike. What is this Heroes of the Storm?"
And the Wongs were talking so much smack in the interview before the game too, where they were like, "Yeah, Stitches, yank and gank, mofo," and I was like, "Yeah, let's go." I was on Twitter, all hashtag yank and gank. I was like, "Yeah, new game incoming." No, low expectations.
Low. No. Now you have pink hair, sir. Now you have pink hair.
Pink hair.
And Justin looks like a 12-year-old baby.
There's nothing
with a cool sci-fi background. BlizzCon was a blast, though. I got probably hard to say if this is my favorite BlizzCon. I guess my first. There's nothing like your first, but I think this might have been best. I think this might have been my favorite BlizzCon ever. I mean, just crazy announcements, Metallica.
You got to see a movie trailer?
Oh, snap. All right, what do you want to talk about first? Let's talk about BlizzCon. We'll talk about Draenor in a minute. Let's talk about BlizzCon first. This is like a post-BlizzCon show. So, through the party at the Annabella with Zam, and thanks for everybody who came out to the party. It was a blast. For the people who couldn't get in, I'm sorry. I apologize. The line was out of control. So basically what's happening to Blizzard servers right now happened to our party. So we had no idea that many of you
was DDoSed.
The party was DDoSed by humans. I mean, the line was down the. I don't know if you guys know the layout, but from where the Annabella Hotel is to the Hilton Hotel, the line was almost to the Hilton Hotel of people.
This is with increased space this year.
Yes, right? Yes, there was increased space. So, wow. From what we estimate, there was like 1,500 to 2,000 people maybe outside.
Oh, wow.
Not in.
Party.
And that was like bringing almost 1,000 people, close to 1,000 people in at the party. So it was a pretty big party, and I wish we could show more of it on the stream because we're going to try and get more cameras for next year so people can see more. I want to start blowing it out because you only get to see the 2 cameras and it looks like it's kind of small. It's pretty damn big. I mean, there was the streaming setup, there was the stage where we were throwing out all the good the swag. There was a photo booth set up that you could take photos with a whole big setup and tweet them out. There was it was all kinds of stuff. Corsair was there with keyboards and showing off mice, and they had a whole big setup. So it was legit, man. I gotta give props to Zam for really pulling out the stops. They did a really good job coordinating, get everything done. But yeah, it was a blast. It was great. I love it. It's great. Jesse Cox, big kudos to him. Towley helping me out for the most of the night. Everybody. Jeff Keighley stopped by. Michelle Morrow. Mia Rose. Blast. And then you go to BlizzCon. And then boom, they just like say, "Hey, we got a new IP, Overwatch. Yeah. You guys want to talk about a new game?"
And they gave us so much in the opening ceremony too. It was like, new IP. Oh, and here's a bunch of stuff about it. And I was just like, whoa, hang on, I can't type this fast. Slow down.
So what was the outset? Like I was sitting at home, and I see on the I see on Twitter people coming in and like, here's a picture of the setup. There's got this in the secret area that didn't have anything posted. There's like tons of computers here. It looks like it's set up in team PvP mode or something. Like people trying to guess what it is.
Yeah. So
Justin, didn't you buy the virtual ticket just because of the Overwatch announcement? Do I remember that correctly?
Yes.
I gotta have it. $40 here. Just take it.
Yeah, so as soon as we walked into the show floor, the section, if you've ever been to BlizzCon, there's a section that's closest to where the main stage is, and that's where they've usually in years past they've put Heroes of the Storm, or like it's usually where their big announcements. That's where they put Mists, like whatever the big announcement sort of is, and it's going to be playable is usually in this area. And this area was larger than last years prior. There was about I know there was actually 600 PCs set up, and it was all dark. Everything was dark. Nothing was lit up. The screens above it, they usually have like big LED monitors like that. Have whatever game it is right there. Nothing was up. Everything was dark. And we're like, whoa, this is it right here. Right, you gotta. So as soon as that announcement went live, like all that stuff went up, and the thing was like Overwatch. 600 PCs are like up, fired, and ready to go to start playing Overwatch like right then and there. It was pretty. The feeling inside the room was pretty intense when they announced it, man. Like it's just like the place just erupted. I don't know if it came across on the virtual ticket, but that room in the main stage just went crazy.
There were people speculating new IP, but I don't think anybody was like 100% certain that we were getting new IP going into that. So it was a pretty big surprise.
So what do you guys think? Blizzard
Overwatch was known. Everyone thought it was a Hearthstone expansion.
Yeah.
It was a trademark that was back in June, July that was reported on, and then just kind of quickly went under the radar right after that.
So what does everybody think? Team-based, multiplayer, shooter, FPS?
I'm gonna have to say this right off the bat. I've never really heard Q get super excited about a game.
Shooter.
She has talked about Overwatch all week long.
Q is our editor-in-chief at GameBreaker, if you don't know. But yes, she's quite excited for Overwatch. We both got multiple matches in, so we've both played it.
Overall, I think it was a great move on their part, though. Like, this is one genre where there are probably fans of people who like know Blizzard, but aren't interested in their current games, and now they're just going to be able to pull them over.
Yeah, and there's a lot of talk of like how this is like, I think Metzen even said there's remnants of Titan in this from like sort of the world and things like that. I got to tell you guys, man, it feels so polished already. It's pretty unbelievable how well it plays already. And it's like Blizzard top to bottom, right? You sit down and, they're showing this thing and we're not even close to alpha, and everything feel like it felt like you could probably, to us, and of course you can't, you'll find balance issues and things like that. But it was a 1000% playable game. Zero bugs, zero glitches, nothing weird happened. Obviously some tuning, things like that, but man, it just plays super smooth, super fast.
And there were already 12 heroes for you guys to play. The poster they released has 15, I think, on it. So those are pretty close to being ready. And so, I mean, it's like, just wow. It's just amazing.
Yeah,
it looks like, I can't wait to get hands on it myself.
Couldn't pry anything out of the Blizzard devs. Tried to, as far as like payment model, things like that. But you got to think that they're probably going to go free to play, like a heroes model, free to play. Yeah. Push a bunch of heroes into the game and even do a rotation of free heroes, and then maybe unlock them and keep them and buy skins for them. I have a feeling it's going to be almost exactly like a Heroes of the Storm MOBA style free to play game.
I was going to ask, it comes to me, just from what I've seen, it comes across very much as sort of a MOBA-esque game. Obviously it doesn't play like a MOBA and all that. It's a shooter, but it just seems like it has a lot of MOBA qualities to
like
it,
what?
like objectives and stuff. So it would be surprising if they didn't go with sort of a MOBA type payment plan with the free to play and the rotation and all that.
How did you associate gameplay with MOBA? Because I mean, it's very much more closer to something like
I'm not saying gameplay wise, but it's sort of just it's team based. but there were like objectives in it, which sort of what Heroes kind of revolves around. Not every hero is all about necessarily pointing and shooting. They're support characters, and some of those guys had turrets they could drop and things like that.
There's only two similarities that I really see coming out of it in terms of relation to MOBA. That's obviously your hero selection, which is just classes expanded into a whole bunch of them with individual names on their character now. And then you have the other side of it is literally just the wow, I can't even remember what the second thing I was going to say was.
Derp.
It's not the objectives, because that's in the shooters. All those objectives, it's just payload and I'm doing really bad. Point capture, which are both as regular objectives in shooter games right now. They're both those.
Yeah, I mean,
it's the abilities. It's the abilities and having an ultimate.
Well, and also giving them unique characters with their own little bits of lore, their own backstory. I mean, that's very Heroes of the Storm, League of Legends, Smite, all that stuff, too. This has to be free to play. And I talked about this on a different show earlier this week. And I know they officially said, we're considering free-to-play. We're also kind of looking at maybe a one-time box fee, because consoles could potentially be in the mix here as well.
Consoles, you can very much see them.
There was a lot of question marks on that. This has to be free-to-play. I mean, that's been Blizz's MMO or MMO. Blizz's MO for like the last 2.5 years, right? Let's get into the card game, and all of our competition is free-to-play. So let's make.
And
this
it was an MMO for the past 2 years as well.
Let's go into Let's go into the MOBA scene. Our biggest competition there is going to be free to play. Let's go into the competitive shooter, 6v6 arena type stuff. Our major competitors there are going to be things like Team Fortress 2, Loadout, those types of games. This has obviously, to me, watching it, a lot more polish, looks a lot more fun. I like the no sprinting and stuff like that. That really.
Oh, don't even talk to me about no sprinting. I was playing Tracer.
The gameplay. I think going in with a box fee is almost like the absolute wrong decision to make when that's your target.
I don't know. They may be more likely. They may be more likely though to go in terms of for Overwatch the method that Smite sort of does with theirs. Obviously, charge a higher price, but free to play with an option, with a box option purchase to unlock like most of the heroes, or at least a large amount of them.
Oh, I could see that.
Especially with because how you play it, you can switch between your heroes mid game, right?
As soon as you die,
or whatever, you
doesn't
switch hero.
Yep.
So they definitely want you to have a lot of heroes available to play.
Yeah, if you're not switching heroes, you're kind of playing it wrong. Was how it was told to me, that you actually needed to you needed to switch. I was trying to focus on specific heroes. I only played a few of them. I started with Tracer, and the reason I was like, "Damn your sprint," was because Tracer's shift key is her blink. Teleport. It's her blink, and I just constantly kept like muscle, like just memory of shift being sprint in an FPS. Yeah. I just kept blowing my like blinks constantly, like, and I was just like, "Oh man, I need that! I just kept hitting it over and over and over. Yeah, so I played Tracer. I tried Tracer first, and I was like, wow, that because when they show you that blink,
like everybody tried Tracer first.
Well, yeah, and it's not as easy as it seems when you've never played it before. So you know how they kept showing that blink, 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 ultimate, and then recall like back. And it's, I just couldn't pull it off. Like I was totally confused.
I watched the pro do it. I should be able to do it, right?
Exactly. I was like trying to do it, and I was like, all right, screw this. I'm going to try something else. And then I went for Winston. I played Winston, the big ape. Which was pretty crazy, and his leap's really awesome. And then I tried Widowmaker, which is the female sniper, and that was my favorite. I definitely fell in love with the sniper. I loved it.
I'm all about Reaper. All about Reaper.
You know, it's like the thing that's going to be funny is I don't think anyone's going to fall in love with any one. The way you're going to want to play it is like know how to play a bunch of them and switch around. I was scoring really low because I'm just terrible at games, but that's how it goes.
So I think that's great that they've done, and obviously Tracer like has hit the internet as like the most favorite right now, or like the biggest thing out there, because we've seen her story and they've really focused on that. But as they release more and more of these stories, they are making you like, just like in Blizzard fashion, loving the characters. You want to know their story, you feel a connection to them, and you're just so involved in their story.
Well, here's a great point, right? We left the main stage, and it had just been like announced, right? But they went over all the characters and stuff, and we were chatting, and I forget who brought this up. I apologize for not remembering, because I didn't realize this. Somebody else I was with realized, and they said to me, "Go, you know what's really brilliant?" And I was like, "What?" And they were like, we've just heard about this game, right? Like this was just launched. They just talked about it, and they were like, I think I could name all 12 characters already. Widowmaker, Reaper, Winston, Torbjorn. Like I can name almost every name, and I'm like, how is that possible? Like I don't understand like how they picked like Tracer. Like I almost know all of the characters of the game, and I literally there something about the personalities and the characters and the artwork and the names that they associated with them for some reason just really, really work.
They each come across as very, very unique, which makes it easier to differentiate them from each other and know and feel something for that character. It's not just another character in the game.
They're building a fantastic stable here too, right? Because as soon as Overwatch launches, then those characters are eligible to be added to Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah, and you can play them later.
They weren't going to do it until after Overwatch launched, but it's like, hey, you know what? Everybody's kind of liking Tracer. Let's get on that for Heroes, so it's already set to go.
I mean, they've already got all the abilities and the ultimates all set up for you.
Yeah.
Here we go, guys. Let's do it.
Chat room's asking. I see somebody asking a question about how many heroes are they going to be adding to the game. They're not saying, but I can imagine that there is no limit. They're just going to keep adding heroes. So
147.
That's confirmed. 147. No, there's no confirmation. I think they just plan on keep. The poster that they released had. I don't know how many on it, but there's extras on there's a few more on the poster than there was released. There's like that cool looking ninja samurai robot kind of dude and some other people. So I think they just plan on they can just keep 40, 50, 100 and like have a rotation just like Heroes does and sell skins for them and all that kind of stuff. Great experience, I gotta say. It was kind of funny too when if you guys are familiar with Jeff Kaplan, who's the design developer on the game. When they announced him and he came out, I was like, oh, yeah, I remember that guy. Now, I haven't seen him in years. Now I know where he's been. Tucked away, making
He's been a busy, busy man.
I hate shooters. So, right, I don't play Team Fortress 2 and games like that. Not only am I bad at them, I just don't have fun playing them. But there was nothing about Overwatch watching all of this unfold that I wasn't like, damn, I want to try that. I want to try that.
Absolutely, I'm the exact same way. I am. If anything, I may be an anti-shooter guy.
So what is it for you guys then? What's the draw? Is
something about this that appealed to me.
But what is it? Is it just because it's got that Blizzard flair and that polish and just the?
I'm sure at least for me, that's certainly a little bit of it. Is the just the Blizzard polish and knowing that it's probably going to be a little more accessible than some other things just because of the nature of the way Blizz does things. But they were compelling characters. They were interesting specials and moves. It seemed like, yes, this was a shooter, but it wasn't all about shooting. There were other things going on that were a lot of creativity that I really liked. That, if I'm not terribly good at Twitch shooting, then this hero or this hero might be best for me because I can do X, Y, and Z, and that doesn't involve directly shooting. It's a support or it's a heal type thing. So, there was just multiple things going on that I was like, I might not be good at this, but that looks really cool, and I'm pretty sure I could play that pretty well.
Yeah, and that's going to play a big role. And like, I'm about my third match, I got teamed up and kind of ran with, and I don't know who it was, but somebody who was playing Mercy. Again, I remember the name already, which is a support class. And wow, did I stay alive a lot longer? Like super important. If you can, if you're doing like I was, I think a DPS kind of offensive character at that point, but teamed up with a tank and a support character in that kind of a scenario and staying pretty much together, huge difference. So
my only question at the end of it was, but will there be hats?
Probably.
And the spectator mode we were seeing, has anybody heard confirmation that is going to be a spectator mode in the game? Because that thing looked really good.
I don't think we heard any kind of
just watching the game be played, where it would jump around to the point of view of the characters, and then look like it's just a camera up on the wall, looking down at a fight. It was fun. It was just fun to watch.
Yeah, I can't.
If I never play it again, I would never get to play it. I would still watch it be played because that was entertaining.
I don't know if they say anything about trying to do esports competitive. I'm not going to say anything on it, but obviously we already saw a spectator mode and them shoutcasting a match. So
yeah,
let's just go with it from there.
We'll say from that what you will, but
they're going to do it because they know people are going to want it, and it will give other people stuff to do.
And I mean, at the end of the day, it's also competitive multiplayer, which is what Blizzard, does really well. And they've now added spectator with arena and everything else, even in Warcraft is coming. So,
and boom, have your beta in 2015.
Could be December 31st. Let's not forget. Everybody is like sort of assuming it's going to come really soon. It could basically be 2016 for all we know. But yes, it is going to come pretty soon. But it felt good. I think a lot of people are going to like it. And yeah, the accessibility of it for people who aren't into shooters, that's what Blizzard does best, right? Blizzard, they say it all the time. They wear their heart on their sleeve. They say, hey, we take the best of certain genres and we then make it a little bit more accessible and amplified.
And they're good at it. Look at my League of Legends total play time compared to my Heroes of the Storm total play time.
Yep.
I'm already exceeding what I've done on League of Legends because that accessibility factor is there. I don't have to worry about the items and this other stuff that I would have to sink a lot of time into researching and playing and becoming good at and memorizing what I want to buy and when and all that.
Yeah.
Nope, Heroes of the Storm, I just go and do my thing. I still suck at it. Make no mistake, I'm still terrible at it, but it's more accessible, and I feel like I'm having more fun as I get people swearing at me.
Me too. I've played so much of that now.
What, Heroes of the Storm? No, you didn't. You're a freaking liar.
Yeah, I've played so much Heroes. It's
so
such a
much
good game.
Heroes.
That one hero, he's really fun when I play him.
That one hero?
that one hero. All right, let's talk about something really quick. I don't know if you guys want to ask me questions, go ahead. But something that the three of you haven't seen. If you're at BlizzCon, you got to probably see. Hopefully, if you went upstairs on the third floor to see the World of Warcraft film trailer, and that they did not show on the virtual ticket, and a lot of people are a little miffed at that.
Yeah.
Well, you got
not like our virtual ticket was working half the time over the weekend.
If Overwatch hadn't have been announced, then everything that we would be talking about BlizzCon right now is how we did not get a movie trailer. That we didn't see anything on the virtual ticket.
Yeah, Overwatch is saving grace.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, other than Overwatch, the ticket was kind of a disappointment to be watching live, to be honest. Overwatch obviously was pretty cool, but when you think about all the other, great, Hearthstone's getting more cards. Oh, you're putting RNG in them. Fantastic. Can't wait.
But how would it be a disappointment? You got to see everything pretty much, didn't you, on the virtual ticket? Didn't you get to see everything?
They had so many issues over the weekend with
it was
lost,
terrible.
video was lost the entire ticket, crashed, and it'll be down for a long time. Like the exhibition match, I didn't even get to watch the final two matches.
Oh, that's kind of
the exhibition match because it just went out.
That's well, they actually had a power outage at the con for a while. The entire con went out of power, so that could have been part of it as well. But
I did rather enjoy, and this was odd for me. I loved sitting there watching the Arena Championships.
A lot of fun.
Those were some amazing matches, and
those lasted forever.
I've never queued up for one in World of Warcraft, but damn, watching 2 3-0 reverse sweeps back-to-back to roll into the finals there was freaking amazing play going on.
Really quick, just to talk about the movie. People are asking about if it's online or you can find it. I don't think you can find it. I have not seen it. People don't believe that you can't find it. Like nobody snuck in a phone or recorded it. So when you got into the theater, when the lights went down, there were actually people in the theater with night vision goggles in the theater, scanning the entire room constantly, making sure that no one had phones out or anything. So I don't think it's out there. I think they've done a pretty good job.
Lights went out and all you heard was
yeah. Pretty much.
I've still never been able to find the Comic-Con trailer, so I would doubt this one's out there either.
Yeah, and so they showed the trailer, and then they showed a 15-second scene. You've probably heard a lot of people gush about it already and talk about it. So all I can say is we still don't know if he's going to get the story right. I'll play devil's advocate. He's got to get the story right. But if you want to talk strictly from a visual effects standpoint, oh my God, you will all be happy. That's all I can say. That's really all there is to say. From a visual effects standpoint, it looks gorgeous. So they showed a trailer, which is still early on, which I'm sure is not going to be the trailer. Right? Yeah, this the trailer that they started it with is definitely not going to be the trailer you will ever see. It's very early on. It still looks epic. You see Stormwind come up, and you're just like, but it's all good. And then after the trailer, there's a 15-second, about a 10 to 15-second shot of one scene of, I believe, chat room will yell at me if I don't remember who it is. I think it's Duratar's. Yeah, it's Duratar. I think it's like a portrait shot of just his head. Duratan. Yeah, Duratan. Just to show off, and they wanted to show this because all that the Duncan Jones says on the screen, he basically says, "I want to show you guys something that at least we feel is very close, at least to the fully representation of what this film is going to look like." That's not what the trailer is. Not that this scene is that. So. And when you see it come up and you see the CGI, it's pretty phenomenal. The technology has really gone way farther, and it's like Avatar on crack. Like it just the facial expressions look gorgeous. Like you can really see emotion in the face, and everybody's just kind of gasped at that moment of being like, "Wow, I didn't think the orcs were going to look this good." So they're doing a really good job with it. Now let's just hope they get a great story. You know, they got to get the story right.
Is the movie taking too long, though? It's 2016 now. We're having to wait till it to come out.
They could take as long as they want. I don't care. I really don't. I saw that. I'm just like, dude.
We're gonna need another expansion.
I mean,
before then.
Well, didn't they? Maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't they? Aren't they not pushing it back also due to Star Wars? Isn't that one of the reasons?
I don't know. I haven't heard that, but it wouldn't surprise me.
No, I'm pretty.
I like 6 movies planned. I don't know.
Chat room will tell us, but I'm pretty sure that they. I think that they were planning a 2015 release, and then I think Star Wars then came out with their release date, and I think they pushed Warcraft back because they don't.
Now Marvel's coming out with its release dates for the next 10 years. They got tons of movies to overshadow it.
Yeah,
right. But 2016 gives me plenty of time. You know, I'll finish this queue just in time
to go see the movie.
Go see the movie. It's gonna be awesome. It'll be sweet.
I'm 3165 in queue with 260. Why does my estimated time jump like from? It's like 3 minutes, 175 minutes, 298 minutes. It's just like what? It can't figure.
Because it doesn't.
Because it hasn't had to estimate time for over a year and a half now.
It doesn't know.
Yeah, there's a quiet little burn.
Let's go over a couple of the other quick things from BlizzCon. Goblins versus Gnomes, Hearthstone expansion coming out. I think everyone just goes, "Yay!" I mean, exciting,
cool.
I mean, hey, it's
the video is funny.
I kind of actually am somewhat surprised that it's coming out this quick. They're really like pumping like content out pretty quickly. Like Hearthstone is definitely not. I mean, of course, it's not like a MMO where they just got to make cards and stuff like that. But still, I wasn't expecting a Hearthstone expansion at BlizzCon. 120 brand new cards. That's pretty cool. So waiting for that.
Here's what I think.
Yeah, and then they showed 10 collectible cards, so it's at least 130.
Yeah, what I think is kind of going on here, maybe, and I'm just speculating, but obviously it's coming now out on the tablet for Android.
Oh yes, the Android tablet.
I think this game's just gonna be a big game for mobile devices, especially once it gets the phones and things. And if they're able to keep pumping out cards and people can keep feeding microtransaction money into that because they just want to keep getting more cards while they're sitting somewhere at a train station playing the game. I mean. I think that's kind of what's happening.
I play much more on my iPad than I do desktop. It's not something I launched like I don't know. It kind of fell off on my desktop, and it's something that's pretty much my go-to on an iPad now. So
something like that seems like it would be maybe even more suited for like laying around on your couch on a tablet or something. Anyway.
Oh yeah.
I retired from professional Hearthstone playing when I took a tremendous 3-0 beating at the hands of Justin Kennedy.
Oh God, that was a long time ago.
And I haven't played since either.
Wow.
The game that retired to
That was it. 3-0 and I'm out.
I said, this game is broken beyond repair.
All right, any other thing at BlizzCon you guys want to cover?
Since then. The only thing I don't like about the expansion is the RNG cards becoming more of an element. I could go without that, but other than that, I'm always a fan of new cards.
QQ. Anything else we want to cover over at the BlizzCon?
Well, I forgot to put in there
the Star. Gary, that's the way it's gonna be. Meow.
Yeah,
that's what I'm gonna do. Meow.
StarCraft 2 got its expansion as well.
Oh yes, got StarCraft 2 and a new in its own room for
its own
room. It's standalone too, so you don't have to have the other two.
The StarCraft Arena, which is a completely new section within BlizzCon, they expanded the floor plan of BlizzCon there's a circular room off to the side for StarCraft, was epic. I have to say, that room alone, it blew me away. I walked in there. I couldn't even get a seat, and there was stadium seating, and there were like a couple thousand people sitting in seats. I couldn't even get a seat. It was sold out. The guy was like, "You can't come in. It's sold out." I was like, "I just want to see the room." He's like, "All right, just take a look and you got to get out." But wow, they did a fantastic. I don't know if you guys saw the stage and stuff of what they did, but it looked gorgeous. So
I was just saying, speaking of stages, like we can see it on the live stream a little bit, but like how was all the stages for each of the sections?
Better than every year.
The one was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was great.
The Hearthstone stage looked awesome.
Yeah.
I liked that a lot.
Yeah, the whole tavern and the fireplace and stuff. That's where that stage was where StarCraft was last year, I believe, if I get that right. And then so they moved StarCraft to its own. The StarCraft one was the most epic thing besides main stage, obviously. But the Hearthstone stage looked great. It was awesome. They shared that with the WoW Arena stuff, so that was great. No, it was bigger than it's ever been. I mean, there was more footprint. There were more sections. I got to also say kudos to Blizzard, especially on Overwatch, of making those queue times way low. You did not have to wait long at all to play Overwatch, which was amazing.
That's amazing because there's no telling how many people were in line to play that.
The line, you thought it was going to be
over 600.
Yeah, there was 600 machines. You thought when you got online, there were so many people online, you thought you were going to be there for at least an hour. I think tops I waited was 25 to 30 minutes.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So they did a really good job. That was a great number of machines to get going because that really moved you almost didn't stop moving, which is really good because it was awesome.
They had to have pretty good faith in that their game would run well too if they were putting it on 600 machines. Ran great. I mean, as far as like I said, I didn't see any bugs or anything like that. I didn't hear of any chatter of anything going down or bugging out. I'm sure there's still bugs and stuff there. Like I said, most what people were talking about the chatter once you got off the machines were some balance things. You know, Blizzard always likes to OP, tune some stuff up, and a couple of the classes like Torbjorn and stuff. The engineer felt a little bit OP. Those damn turrets, man! Oh my god, one shot! I like peek my head out, take like one shot, turret, I'd be like dead. Like what hit me? Turret. So that kind of stuff, but that's all just good fun stuff. And then Metallica was freaking awesome, like so good. It was ridiculous. I wasn't even that super psyched for it. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna hang out and check out a song. They came out.
They shot the power out of the joint.
They came out, hit the lights. I was like, what? I'm staying. I was there for the entire
crowd on the live stream. They came across as super into that. Like when the ceremonies were getting ready, when they were like talking about Metallica, the crowd seemed like, yeah, let's do this.
They were. Even if you're not like a super like Metallica fan, I think most people really enjoyed it. Foo Fighters were great last year. Some of the years before, whatever, take or leave it. They were really perfect. They sounded great. A lot of energy. The room was going nuts. So yeah, it was great. It was a great time. Loved it. Loved meeting all the people. All the Game Breaker people came out. Just seeing a bunch of people saying hello.
Did you get a chance to watch the Looking for Group documentary?
Yes, watch that.
Oh, that was amazing. That was actually really good.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, they did a nice job with that too.
Yeah, it was nice to see some of that stuff and just hear them talk about how they did
that documentary. Made me go ahead and pre-order Warlords about 24 hours before I had intended to.
Man,
I was like, oh man, I have to play. I have to just go ahead and just do this now and boost to level 90. I have to play this game again.
That means you just bought it and you're not having any problems with it. I pre-ordered it
months and months.
The pre-orders went live.
Oh no, not me.
Paid in full.
My favorite part of that documentary, though, was the part where they were like, they thought they could launch the original game with 12 people.
Right.
Yeah.
We only need 12 people to run this game.
You never know, right? You never know. All right, let's talk a little bit about Draenor today, what we can talk about it. I know Bern and I are probably the only two that have gotten in there and actually had any playtime. Mine is pretty limited, so I stayed up, midnight hit. I spent about my first hour, battling the DC... not bug, but just getting DC'd constantly.
Right.
I would go to the Dark Portal, I'd get DC'd, I'd log in, I'd be at Orgrimmar, and I'd just keep going back, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Finally, I guess at about, 1 a.m., maybe a little bit after, the NPC at the Dark Portal finally showed up for me. I could finally see that question mark somewhere in that haze of players just everywhere. And then got through the Dark Portal. And I'm not going to, definitely no spoilers here. I'm not going to at all talk about what goes on. But the initial questing that starts off Draenor is just phenomenal. Like, it's super epic.
So good. It is so good.
I'm like, I was blown away. Like, I was like literally like, wow, this is what I want a game to feel like from start to finish. Like, this feels great. And I guess I'm not giving it.
I said the exact same thing in Guild Chat last night. Why can't every MMO quest ever be like what's happening right now?
And it's really little things. And I mean, obviously this is going to stop at some point, and I'm not going to have this much interaction. And it's this combination of camera movements in like pushing in voiceover, coupled with like, you know, NPCs coming along with you and like, you know, just amplifying the angst. Like, they did this great job of like making you feel the issue at hand that has to be dealt with like right then and there, and you like felt like you had to do it and like start getting through this. And it's like it was like that. You felt like did you all feel like almost like the clock was ticking? Like, you're like, we have to do this.
Absolutely. And instead of telling me in text that what I need to do is important, you made me feel like, man, I better get on this, or this whole world's going to come crashing down around us.
Yeah, and I don't think this is going to continue all the way to level 100, obviously, but it's a really nice way to set the tone. And I don't remember, I mean, even, you know, with Final Fantasy XIV and knowing a lot of the characters and stuff before I even played it, I don't remember feeling interested by the bad guys the way I have in this one, the way each of them is like introduced in the cutscenes, you know, rather than just a name over a head. And okay, yeah, sure. I'm sure this guy is important if I've read every World of Warcraft book, but I haven't. I'm missing 2 of them, so whatever. Just give me the damn quest. You feel like they're very important, that you need to know them. You need to know what their little piece of the pie here is and exactly why they're here. It really does kind of pull you in. Now, if they can continue at least telling that narrative, although I can't imagine they're going to keep doing the cutscene all the way through to 100. If they can continue with that narrative, I'm going to be really impressed from a lore standpoint. Love it.
I agree. I'm the same way, and I'm watching chat room. Everybody's saying the same thing. I like how they introduced each warlord. The starter quest was like a movie. Somebody's saying, I wish they would do all the quests like they did in the beginning for like the beginning one. So, I mean, I can't imagine, how much work goes into that, and I imagine it falling off. But even if they can keep up some pace of that to where even if it gets a little bit more spread out, that it really keeps me in there, I will be very happy. Because that's one thing I think like I've fallen off with MMOs just in lately in general years is when you could get into this endless grind of just, clicking the box and there wasn't enough to really get you like invested in what you were doing. And these mechanisms that they've come up with just the camera moves and the voiceover, not even the voiceover, you don't have, but just the way they've done it is really, I don't want to say it's not a simple way, 'cause it's not simple at all, but it creates so much more atmosphere in the game. I immediately jumped on like a couple of my friends who were like on the fence about playing Draenor. I'm like, look, I've been out of WoW for a little while. I don't know what happens. I'm up to my Garrison. That's basically, I got up to like my Garrison. That's when I DC'd. And
Did you actually open it?
No, I don't even have it. Okay. I got DC'd at trying to.
You guys aren't even past that yet. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I know. I got past the Garrison.
I got to the point.
I'm stuck in my Garrison right now, ironically.
I got to the point where I had to click on the flag for my Garrison, got DC'd, and was like, all right, I'm out because this is just not going. Not my night. So, I gotta say, really epic so far. I was completely drawn in and sucked in, and
I agree. And the quests are, there's nothing special going on with the quests. It is kill 10 of these, kill 8 of these, go put flags in 8 of these things. But it's the subtle variation in, okay, let's get away from click accept, click go, click this. Let's get away from that and start just making this a little more epic. The music is right. It's really dead on.
It's really good
for what it needs to be doing. It's just drawing you in a little bit more. And if you don't want to read it, you don't have to. That's fine. You're still getting enough of the story that you have this feeling of this is a cool little world that's going on here right now.
The world building has been improved too. Not only are the quests moving along and keeping you from that back and forth quest hub kind of feel, but every little area is just different enough that you're seeing new things. You're seeing, a little slightly different enemies. You got to go up and down ramps, and just there's different things going on in the world building. And the quests are taking that and doing a really good job of not letting these little unique areas wear out their welcome. and it's coming together so nicely right now that I'm just terrified I'm going to hit a brick wall somewhere about halfway to level 100. It's just going to stop doing that.
Oh, you mean a brick wall, like being stuck in your garrison and not actually able to do anything in your garrison, and having all of your Hearthstone's cooldowns blown through a disconnect? That's a brick wall. The one thing I will say about the garrisons, though, is the follower stuff. I thought this was kind of just going to be a meh, whatever for me. That's addictive. Okay, getting those followers, sending them out on these little missions, collecting, matching them up. Oh, this one's got a threat, so let's use it. That's addictive. It needs to be a mobile app tomorrow.
Yes, please.
Tomorrow.
So people don't.
Maybe not, please. Maybe don't do that.
Different
Because I need to be able to get away from this every once in a while.
What's different about the sending out followers than it is in SWTOR, where you send out your companions or whatever they're going to get?
They're not really the crafting. Yeah, it's more
That doesn't suck.
Well,
the followers in WoW and the minions in Rift are very similar. And it's sort of more like little rewards, and I'm getting like blue level gear and stuff out of my followers that I can activate, and it'll turn into gear that's good for whatever spec I happen to be in at the time. And if I don't want it for that spec, I can just switch specs and activate the gear, and it'll switch to that spec. Yeah, I'm getting like level 530 blues out of the followers coming back, which is, for me, I didn't like raid. I've been gone from WoW for like 2 years now, so I don't have like epic raid gear and stuff like that. So all this stuff are some, they're bringing me back some sweet upgrades.
To answer your question legitimately, Justin, what's the difference between what you're doing here and the companions in Star Wars? So the companions in Star Wars, they had little modifiers to certain jobs, right? And so, or certain professions, and so you would send them out for professions they were good at if you wanted a little bonus. If you didn't care, like I didn't, because all you were doing was trying to level up your damn profession as fast as possible, you really didn't care about mats. You were just clicking companions, clicking the next mission on the list. They would go, they would come back 15 minutes later, and they would give you something. That was it. In here, you've got your assistants, your followers have different abilities. They've got different levels. They've got different hit points or stamina, whatever you want to call it. That bar, I'm not sure what it's named actually in the UI. So you have to take multiple things into consideration, and then you get to decide whether or not you want to gamble on it. In Star Wars, you sent them, they came back, maybe they succeeded, maybe you didn't. Here, you know exactly, based on the way you've lined up, here's the mission, here's all the stuff that you're going to face. Do you need 1, 2, 3 followers to go do it? Because you can't just one-to-one. They're not, all the missions aren't one-to-one. Set up your stack, the best way to give you the highest chance to succeed, and then you're looking at it saying, all right, I got 73% chance, and here's the rewards. Do I want to go for it? It's like a little mini game. It's
kind of
not
like
so
RTS,
much.
it sounds like, where you send out
it's
your
not
troops.
so much a just have these people go do this because I need 3 more levels on my crafting. There's actual mini game strategy there, and so to me, it has to be an app. And if it's not, Shafnet tweeted out today. Go to my PC is going to get a ton of business, and he's absolutely right.
Has it been known yet? Is anyone sort of, because I've heard them the devs talk about how garrisons are going to be a pretty integral part in Warlords. Like, it's a pretty core component to the entire expansion. But do we know what they mean by that yet? Besides it just bringing back gear, is there more?
I don't, but I see a lot of my garrisons. So
it's an occasional quest hub. Some of the main, like Duratan is in my garrison right now. After taking, no spoilers, Troy, don't say that. After doing some quests where Duratan is out in the world, he's now come back to my garrison, and some pretty important little kind of interaction between him and someone else took place right smack in the middle of my garrison. So I mean, I'm ready to upgrade mine. I need 25 more resources to upgrade it to the next level, and I'm excited about it. Everything's sort of, even if it doesn't directly come back to the garrison, it's sort of comes back to your garrison.
Interesting way to do it. I'm psyched. I gotta plant my flag, damn it. Gotta get my flag.
Oh, that's when I started to talk about the issues, by the way. I didn't really have issues right off the bat. The stuff you were mentioning about going through the dark portal itself and that opening stuff and the jungle forest and all that, I didn't have issues there. No problem. Steamrolled it. It was when I got to those first couple of quests. I'm on Horde side playing right now. those first couple of quests that actually build the garrison, the marking of the flags or the trees, the planting the flags, and that stuff, that was absolutely a train wreck. It was everybody was just moving along, choke point. Everybody was stuck there. You could not click on flags. You could not do anything. Then if you managed to get those 2 quests, kill 8 of these and mark 6 trees, the next quest had you talking to a surveyor who was a character about that big that you couldn't find. You could not find you couldn't find him anywhere. And they actually hot-fixed it after about an hour where you just had to relatively walk near him and it would completely...
Yeah, he's like, boom, done.
So that's where I first started getting my hang-ups. Got the garrison, seemed like, okay, I'm still dealing with a little bit of lag here. There's a ton of people here. I totally understand that. But from there on, the quests were just in bad shape. I played from 3 Eastern when it launched till 7 in the morning Eastern. I was like this close from dinging 91. I didn't make it because from that point on, all the rest of the quests, C Interact did not work. Thank you, though. Everybody was saying that in chat. C Interact,
yeah, everybody was the /C Interact, and that did nothing for nobody.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No. But from that point on was when the quest, you couldn't see mobs, you couldn't see anything as far as other people in the area, you couldn't see NPCs. Sometimes you would stand still and they would appear and you'd, oh, there they go, and you'd move over and they'd, no, we don't want to talk to you. They'd leave. So that's when things got dicey, and I haven't been able to progress at all today with the DDoS stuff. And so
do we know if EU's having these issues? Or are they just getting to play nicely?
Oh no, they're having access issues too. You know, we apparently, from what I saw in the forums, we got things a little bit better than the EU did at initial launch time because they were first, and they took some of the quick fixes that they put in for EU and they put them into our build before we even had access. If that's the case, my brothers and sisters in the EU, I'm sorry, that must have been terrible.
I was watching Tally queued up on EU and it launched. It really wasn't too bad. He got in. Again, I think it's really just hit or miss. It's server by server. Some people are online right now playing with no problems whatsoever.
It's definitely server by server.
Some are having major trouble, and you can see I'm 20.
What's really sad right now is that behind all these problems that are occurring, there is some really fun gameplay in this expansion right now because I've had little to no problems. I am having an absolute blast in Warlords of Draenor. When I bought this expansion, I intended to play it and resub for 30 days, experience it for 30 days, to have the experience to be able to write about it or talk about it or whatever. If this, I'm still early on, so I'm not saying, best thing ever. I'm level 92. If this expansion continues on and plays at least 3/4 as much fun as I'm having right now, all the way through to level 100 questing and stuff, this could very easily be the best expansion WoW has ever had, and I will probably be here for longer than 30 days.
Wow, bold, big statement. That's big. That's big. Especially with the amount of MMOs
I'm not saying is. I'm saying very well could be.
I'm level 92. Shut the hell up.
All right, that's it for this week's show. I got one last thing.
If I was having fun, yes, I am absolutely having fun in this expansion.
I got home from BlizzCon, and guess what I found?
I don't know.
You'll see it on the stream very soon.
Well, that's going to be a few minutes, so.
A few minutes. So, there you go. All right, Mike Byrne. Follow him on Twitter at Magic Man. Magic Man.
Magic Man 1. MAGICKMANN1.
Double N1.
It's good being on the show with you guys. I love you guys.
Come on back.
It's a lot of fun. I'm glad you were here, man.
Yes.
2 out of 3.
Troy Blackburn, the Noob Fridge. Follow him on Twitter at Noob Fridge. And, of course, Justin Kennedy at JK Kennedy TV. You follow me at Gary Gannon. And I apologize for the poor production quality on this week's show. I should be ashamed of myself, and I very much am. And hopefully this show will go nowhere. So don't even watch it. And if you did, just rewind it and act like you didn't watch it because of.
I'm just wondering what happened to the rest of my camera.
It never happened.
Who knows? Today was one of those days that was like right up until the moment that we started this show. Right before things were just going wrong, I smashed a glass in the kitchen. My dogs were going crazy. Tech wasn't working. Nothing in the studio is set up. I got server. I'm just blaming it all on Blizzard. That's it. I'm just blaming. It's just Blizzard, your servers, and you blew up TWIMMO this week. So that's it. So we'll be back next week, Thursday at 5 PST. That's when we usually do the show. Tech will be up and running back in the studio, and we'll be back next week. So have some fun, and we'll talk some more. I'm sure we'll be talking Draenor again next week. So we won't even talk about WildStar today. We'll just leave that. We'll just let that go.
Oh, man, it got worse, dude. It got worse.
Worse? Do you want to talk about it real quick? You can. I just ended the whole...
So
it's like 1 minute with the talking.
The short version, 60-second version, is financially it's not doing well. It's being beaten by almost every IP that NCSoft owns. The only one that it did not beat was Lineage 2 for Q3 sales, and it just barely did beat out Lineage 2. Not going so hot as far as the money is concerned. After that, today,
all the bands probably brought it below.
Huge exploit that resulted in a ton of plat flooding into the marketplace that was driving prices way up on stupid stuff, and the cred market was the one that was biggest hit, people buying up cred and the price of cred being driven up and driven up and driven up. Huge exploit, and Carbine just announced a bunch of bans for a lot of people, including some well-known higher tier rating guilds.
Yep.
You know, the only people subscribed. I'm sorry, I didn't say that.
I feel bad for the folks over at Carbine. Hopefully they get together, because I talked to a lot of them before launch and stuff, and they were like, they're super passionate, and they really put a lot into that game. It's really it's unfortunate.
There's so much good stuff there.
Unfortunate.
You have a lot
just
of
got to work some other stuff out.
Well,
don't even start me with Arcade and those woes. That's making me so mad that Trion is letting XL Games tarnish their rep like that.
Yeah, Trion's taking a huge hit from Arcade as far as their rep right now. They had so much goodwill stored up over years and years and years of having at least the perception of doing the right thing most of the time, and it's just, man, they're taking a beating.
Ruin it all up.
He's at a tweet.
see you next week.